Okay, so welcome guys. So today we'll be talking about practical classes of what we learned on previous class. So on our previous class we talked about flowchart and wireframing, and today we are going to look on. We actually understood the meaning of flowcharts, the types of flowcharts, and I told you each type of flowchart depend on what you want to use it for. And at a beginner's level, I will say you should focus on flowchart itself that has to do with designing or drawing diagram for the whole navigation of a product from beginning to end at your level before you can advance to the next level. We talked about wireframe, which I told you is the skeletal outline design of how your product is going to look like. And we also talked about how wireframing is actually gives your UI design structure and alignment and every other thing for how your final product is actually going to look like. And we talked about three types of we talked about the three type of wireframing. We have the low fidelity, we have the mid fidelity, and we have the high fidelity. And I told you that low fidelity are actually are designs that you can just run a sketch on a piece of paper. Look, is going to look rough, but not that rough. And we say mid fidelity is actually your the higher version of your low fidelity, but it is going to be aligned and is actually used on a digital wiring framing tool, and it looks aligned. And the high fidelity we also said that high fidelity is actually it looks like the 90% of how your final design is going to look like, but has color typography, um, um color typography, has font, it can have image and all. So today we are going to put everything we learned on our previous class into practice, and I'm going to tell you how it is being done. Okay, so first thing first, we talked about was the flow charts. So we're going to look at flow chart, and I said on our previous classes that each symbol determine, or each symbol has a meaning of how you can use that on your flowchart. So, and last time on our during one of our previous class, I said that there are tools you can use as a UI UX designer, but there are tools you can use for brainstorming, and then there are tools you can use for your final UI designs and all. So in this UX design process, we are actually in the research process or design process or brainstorming process where you have to brainstorm for an for a solution for this product or a product you're building for your user. So, and I said for brainstorming we can use FigJam. So this is actually how FigJam look like. So this is when this was when I was walking you through on FigJam, how FigJam actually look like. So, but this is just like a practical tool. So and we said this is how flowchart look like. This is for a sketch for wireframing, for card sorting where you have to write down your pain points and all. And we talked about all this during last class. So we are going to create a flowchart. So I'm going to create a new sheet for our practical of flowchart. So let's take a look of creating flowcharts for a savings platform. Let's say a fintech form. So we're going to give this name of this app. Let's say Spender or Spender. So this Spender is actually a fintech app, is a savings app, or is a fintech app, or is a mobile application where users can actually save money. They can take loan too. So they can save money and they can take loan. So these are the two features we are going to more focus on this particular project. So now let's create a flow chart for this fintech app, and this fintech app is called Spender. So now first thing first is we are going to create a new FigJam file. So when you go to your Figma, this is how it's going to look like. So when you come to your Figma here, so we have for the Figma file and we have for the FigJam board. So the Figma file has your final UI design. This, for instance, it has this and it has this. Where for FigJam is where you can actually brainstorm from that for that project. So where this is how it's going to look like. So first thing first is when you come to your Figma dashboard, what you're going to do, you're going to click on the second button by your top right. So when you click on it, it takes you straight to this particular page. So when it takes you to this particular page, what you're going to do is it's going to look like this. You can zoom in and you can zoom out. So when you zoom in and you zoom out, nothing is there. You can't notice if you're zooming in or out. Now, first thing first, you're going to do, you're going to rename this place. So let's say this is actually the app we are building. Spender app or spender brainstorming, anything you choose to name it. So I'm going to say spender brainstorming 5. So this is how I want to carry out my um, um entire brainstorming on this particular FigJam board. So now FigJam actually did something to us where you can use AI to generate flowcharts. But before using an AI to generate flowcharts, you have to know how to use it on your own before you can actually tell AI to generate it for you. Now, this is how FigJam look like. It's actually same thing as Figma. It is cool, it is easy. Once you know your way around it, then you are good to go. So this is how it look like. So we have this drop down here. So if you want to create new one or create new FigJam file, so we have something like this. If you choose to download the desktop app or open a desktop app, yeah, you're good to go. So but for now, I'm using Figma on a browser. I'm not using a desktop app. I'm using Figma on a browser. Next, we have a new file. So you can create a template for maybe you want to have meetings with your team. Let's say we have a team of 5 and we want to have meeting. Let's discuss about this project. So you can have a template of how to create meetings. You can create another brainstorm. You can create diagram. You can create plan. Let's say we have a plan that we want to work on this particular project. So when you click on this template and then you can use. But for now, we are not having any of these. We just want to have diagram, and I don't want you guys to use the templates. I want you guys to know how to create it on your own before telling AI to, or before getting the templates from FigJam. Now, FigJam actually gave us some music here. So you can choose when you are designing and you need good music. So FigJam gave us music here. So you can select whatever style of music you want here. But the music is not that long. It's just 3 minutes and it's not that much. So this is it. So the next we have is the generate tool, which is the AI, but we are not using any of the AI tool. The next is template. So this is how the templates look like. So this is how the templates look like. So we have some recommended templates that you can use. We have for meeting agendas. So every meeting, what are we going to discuss on our meeting? So we have the template. I believe we actually know what is template. So template is just like a default a file that has been created for we to actually use instead of creating it from afresh. Okay, so we have Figma gave us some templates, which is actually good recommended template that they know that every designers or every developers or every product managers actually use or project manager actually use. So this is how it actually looks like. Yeah, as a UX researcher, you can use Figma and there is template for it. So they also created template for flowcharts. So let's go to diagram. So this is template for flowcharts, but I don't want to use any of that template. I want to show you how to create it manually. Now, then there's a comment where I can drop comments. Maybe let's say I am your mentor on this particular project you are working on. And once you are done and you want me to review the first stage of your research, So when you share the Figma file for me, I can choose to drop comments, just like how I did for the last task that we had, that I dropped comment on some person's file. I think almost all of us file, and some people actually replied back to me. So that is how it look like. So when you share I want to have a conversation, or I want to correct your design, or I want to um appreciate your work, or say something nice, or say or correction, whatever I want to say on that particular design, I'll just click on this comment and then drop comments on the file. So here is where you're going to change the name. So when you click open a new file, it's going to show you untitled design. Then you're going to put the name of the project you want to work on. So here you're going to see your name. So you, the owner of the file. So here it's actually showing my name. So by the time I make this file accessible for other team members to be on this particular file, then I will have multiple image or just name of this person. So mine is just showing letter O, because I did not upload any image on my Figma. So I just use my full name, and it picked the first letter, or sorry, first alphabet of my name. So it just gave me O. And then here we have the share button, where it is same thing as of Figma, the same model, the same pattern. You don't have to change anything. Where you just see anyone with this link can view, only people invited to this file also. And then we have where you can copy the file link and then make it accessible for, or submit the file if a task is given to you. Now this is it. So there you can share to the group, where you can share to the group, for instance, um where you can share to the group, and then you see the owner of the file, and then you can choose to publish this particular file. Let's say we are done with the flowchart and it is actually nice, and you want other beginners to use your design in the Figma community, then you can go ahead and then publish this design on Figma community. Now here we also have the select tool. So when I'm designing, I'm going to use this tool to select. Here we have the move, where I'm going to move my file and all and all. So here we have the marker. So marker, we have the marker, we have the highlighter, we have the washi tape, we have the eraser, then we have the T, we have the thing just like a dot, and then we have whatever colors we want to use on any of this particular tool here. So here we have the sticky notes. So sticky notes is just like you want to take note. This is how you look like. So you want to take note of something, you want to write something, it's okay. Now we have some pain points for this particular spender savings app that we are working on. So a lot of people are telling you that they don't want to start saving just monthly. They want to start saving weekly, daily, and monthly, yearly. Okay, some people will tell you they want to start saving let's say every 6 hour too. So you can just choose to write some important information, some of your pain points of your user and the goals of your user using the sticky notes. Here also we have the shapes for our flowchart. So we have this, and we also have this, and then we have the connector, and then we have then you also remember you can change the color. So we have the color for this. You can choose whatever typeface you want to use. So they gave us typeface to use, and then also you can choose to use whatever font size we want to use. There is small, which is 16. There is medium, which is 24. There is large, which is 40. There is extra large, which is 64. There is huge, which is 96. Now you can also make those fonts bold. You can strike to, like when you write some, let's say for example you wrote something, and let's return it back to small. So let's say you write something like this, and you can choose to highlight it, and then you can choose to do it something like this. So this is what, and then you can actually make this text a link. Let's say you are dropping your inspiration, and you want, let's say you got your inspiration from maybe from one of the design online, and you don't want to forget it, and then you write it on this sticky note, and then you can just highlight this, then click on this and then paste the link here, and then you are good to go. So it's actually been created as a link. Then this, you can use this as your bullet list, which you already know on Figma file. So this is it. Then we have for the text, maybe you just want to write a simple text here, you can do this. And then here we have for the selection, let's say we are done. I am writing our sticky notes together. You can just use this as a frame selection and all. So we discussed this and I walked you through on how FigJam is being created when we are trying to understand the tool. So today we are going to use FigJam to create flow charts for a spender mobile app, which is an application, a mobile application that allow user to save money in whatever currency. But for now, we'll say at your beginner stage, let's use Naira. So Spender is an application, a mobile application that allow user to save money in Naira and also take loan in Naira. So this is actually the app flow we are going to create. Now, first thing first, we are going to now drop in text, and then we are going to say flow charts. So let's write it in capital letter, flow charts, and let's make the text extra large because it's going to be like a title. Now we are going to make this text to be bold. So now we have our title here. Next thing we are going to do is, how do we want this user to navigate through this product? Now, for first thing, now we're going to use Piggyverse as our inspiration. We are going to use OP2 as our inspiration. So let's use these two apps, for example, and let's also use CUDA. So we are going to get our idea from these three apps, and I believe we all use at least two of them. I believe most of us have OP account, CUDA account, and Piggyverse account. So we are going to use these three apps to get inspiration from it. So first thing first, I'm going to do is I will want to use the symbols of we want to use the symbols for flowchart. And I said we have the terminator, we have the input and output, we have the line, we have the line, we have the decision, and we have the process. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my shape for stats. So I'm going to get this. So once you click on this, so this is going to come up. Then you're going to select this shape tool you want to use. So first thing I'm going to use rounded rectangle. So I'm going to place it here and I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to reduce it. I'm going to bring it here and I'm going to double click and I'll write start. So once I write start, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this here and I'm going to say so once I say start, the next thing I'm going to do is create an account, or let's use the word sign up. So before we continue, I can actually see somebody on the Figma file. So before we continue, let's create a sticky note where we will write the description of this project. So I'm going to increase this guy. So now I'm going to say we are building, or we are working on, let's say a fintech savings app that allow user to save their money and also get a loan. Or let's say a fintech app or fintech mobile application. So let's use the word fintech mobile application that allow users to save their money and also get a loan. Okay, so this is a product we are working on. So I'm going to drop this here so I will know project description. So let's say this is our project description. Hi Deborah, please can you give me a second and just leave the Figma file. Once I'm done teaching, you can come back and take a look at it. Thank you. So this is our project description, and now we want to create a flow chart for it. So now what we're going to do is so what we are going to do now, we are going to create a flow chart for it. So first thing first is we'll have the stats. Hi Deborah, please can you leave the Figma file, please? You can come back later and then go through it, okay? Thank you. Okay, so now the first thing first we're going to do is we are going to create a flow chart for it. Now we have our stats. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create a sign up. Sorry, not sign up. So we are going to have a onboarding. So I believe you already know what is onboarding. So let's create an onboarding. So once I open the app, so let's say once I open the app, I will see my splash screen. So let's say splash. So what is splash screen? Splash screen is the first screen that you will see. Now let's say when you open a Piggyverse or Kuda, you will see the logo and the name of the product. And then maybe let's use Kuda for example, for everybody that use Kuda. So once you click, after you download Kuda and you click on Kuda, like you click on the app, when you click on app on the app, Kuda is a purple color that just pop out and the name and the logo show. So those things is known as splash screen. Like this, that is what is called splash screen. And then the next thing we have is the onboarding. We have the onboarding screen. So what is onboarding screen? Onboarding screen is onboarding screen is a screen that talks, it's like 3 screens or screens, is more than one. Screens that talks about the activity of that product. Let's say for example now, Piggy has 4 onboarding screen that has different colors, and they'll tell you build your savings with ease and discipline. The next one will tell you invest with ease and this so let me show you an example. So let's say Piggyverse onboarding screen. Okay, so let's see if we can see Piggyverse. Let's see if they put it out there. So let me show you something. So something like this that is in 3 formats is onboarding. So apart from Piggy, let me show you another product, what onboarding actually look like. So now this is an onboarding screen that talks about let's open. So this is an onboarding screen. So this is what an onboarding screen looks like. Find a place, contact us anytime, and pick your food. So this is like a food app onboarding screen. So this is what an onboarding look like. So this is what an onboarding look like. It is more than one, and it is not more than 5. It can be 4, it can be 3. I think most app I have seen out there is always 3. It can be 4, it can be 5, but it is not more than 5. You get, I think most I've seen, the least I have seen is 2. I can't remember the app that I saw 2. I have seen 2. Most app is 3. Piggy is 4, and I have not seen 5. But I've not seen a live project that has 5. But I have actually seen it on a UI design. So this is what an onboarding look like. So in our own case, we are going to make our own onboarding to be 3. So I'm going to place 1 here, and I will go back here. I will zoom in, and I'm going to make this shape to be just in process like this. So I'm going to bring another shape. You can choose to bring another shape this way and then add, and you say onboarding 2. So this should be 1. So in our own cases, we are making it in our own cases we are making it 3. So this is 1, and then we can duplicate Control D, and then we bring it this way, and then we change the 2 to be 3. So now we'll get our connection. So we are going to use this our connector. So we are going to drag from this line, move to this, and we'll go back and we'll drag from this line and move to this. So we now have the three bodies. Then I'll go back and click my select tool because I want to highlight these guys and I want to shift it to this end. Now we have created our the little flow for the savings app. So the first thing we have is start, so let's bring these guys in so that it will be this way. So it will give us the shape. Now let's change this to process because we are with this, we already have start. So now we are going to use this to process symbol, process. So sorry, I'm going to take these guys out and I'm going to move this guy to this place. It's supposed to be here. I'll take this one out here and I'll move it this way. So it's going to be from the splash. I move to onboarding 1, move to onboarding 2, and then move to onboarding 3. Now your arrow, make sure that your arrow is actually pointing on the next process to follow on. Okay, don't forget that facing to the right direction is very important. Don't make a mistake. Okay, let's do something here. So let's delete this guy here and then let's make it this way. Now if we have something like this, now it shows that this onboarding screen is actually facing 2 and 1 is facing 2. Now you're going to confuse your team, your user, and also me, your mentor or your tutor, when I'm trying to check your flow. Now I'll be confused is where do I from to get to onboarding screen 3? How do I enter onboarding screen 3? Where am I going to come from? Because you have actually confused me. I know, yes, from 3 I can go to 2. You're telling me I have to go backward, but now how do I get to onboarding screen? You have actually confused us. You get? Now what you need to do, you need your arrow to point at the right direction. So we're going to delete this and make sure 2 is facing 3. Okay, so now let's go back and see and walk through the flow. Now we have the start, which is the download app. Then we open and we go to splash. It takes us to onboarding screen 1, takes us to onboarding screen 2, and then takes us to onboarding screen 3. Now what is the next thing we are going to do? The next thing we are going to do, remember I said we are using CUDA, OPE, and Piggy as our inspiration. So what is the next thing I'm going to do? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an account. So you can choose to add a welcome screen that will say welcome, free, and then feel free, be free and save your money or get it done. So you can just choose to add a welcome screen. So in my own case, I'm going to add a welcome screen. So I'm going to add a welcome screen. So another pattern you can actually create another process is you can choose to go here to create new one, or you can choose to duplicate this, Control D, Command D. You can choose to duplicate and then bring it down, or you can just click on this and then drag this arrow to create a new one by selecting the shape. Now these are the shapes that Figma give us. So you can add another shape here. Okay, you can add this shape here. So this is the pattern I love using, and I think this is the easy one. So the next one we're going to have is a welcome screen. So I'm going to add a welcome screen where I'm going to have one illustration that say welcome. Either you sign up or you log in as a user. So you can sign up as a new user who is getting to know the platform or getting to use the platform, or you can log in as an old user that has already been using the app, but you want to do something, you want to carry out an activity on that particular platform, and then you just put your details. Now the next thing I'm going to have is I'm going to have my welcome, and my welcome is going to go this way, and I'm going to add this shape. Now when I add this shape, I'm going to make it which is an input. Remember, I'm using the word sign up. Now why I'm using input on this particular page is because I'm going to type my details. So I'm going to write details: my first name, my last name, my email, my phone number, and then excluding password. So I'm going to make sure that it's facing this direction. So I can choose to sign up as a new old. I can choose to sign up as a new user or log in as an old user. So I have put my password and my sign up here using this input shape. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to verify OTP. So I'm going to verify my let's use the email for verification, email or phone number for verification. So once I'm signed up, the next thing I'm going to do is OTP. So once I've done with OTP, I'm going to have decision box here. Now, this decision box that we talked about on previous class or during flowchart class, that we said this decision is standing as a roadblock. If the information you put is correct, go ahead and continue. If the information you put is not correct, go back and then put the right information. You get. So now this is like a decision. So I'm going to say successful with a question mark. So I'm going to say successful with a question mark, and then I will say yes. So I'm going to duplicate again, and then I'm going to change the shape to be password, create password. So I'm going to move this guy and I'm going to say create password. So this is how it's going to look like. So let's bring this guy and then let's duplicate, let's double click on this and put yes. If it's successful, yes. And we're going to change this line to green color for successful. So we're going to move this to this and then move this to yeah. And then we're going to go out and then we are going to say no. So we're going to go back to this place. So let's take this place. Take this arrow back to this, and then we're going to move it. So let's move it to come out, and then you do double click on it. 1, 2. So click on it, double click on it, and then it shows like this. And then you add letter, you type no to it. So then we're going to change the color to be red, error red. So this is how we want it to be. Now, this is how decision actually look like. So decision is just like, so during the last class, I talked about this decision. What does it mean? It's just like a roadblock where if you're, and I use vehicle, for example, you're traveling and your vehicle particulars is not complete. And let's say the police, let's say policeman actually stop you and said, your paper particulars, are they complete? And you said no. Then you have to go back and then get your complete particulars. Or we also talked about someone who wants to travel out. You're trying to apply for a visa. Are your credentials actually complete? If it's not complete, your visa will not be granted to you. So this is what this decision actually means. So it means that when you put the OTP code, when you want to verify your email or your phone number and you put the OTP code, is it correct? Yes. Is it correct? Yes, it's correct. Then you to move you to the next page where you will create your password. But if it is not correct, then you have to go back and put the right OTP code that was sent to your email inbox or as a SMS code. Okay. Now, the next we're going to do is, so once it's successful, it's going to be create password. So let's reduce it because I don't want it to be too much big. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is once I'm done creating my password, it will then take me to the home page. So I'm going to page color to be gray. So I'll go back to the gray that so let's go back to the gray that I have been using. I think this is the gray. Now this is the gray I'm using. So I'm going to bring this and I'm going to move this guy to be at the top. Okay, let's move it to this way. Okay, so now you can see that we have actually created a flow. We have actually created a flow of a new user. Now a new user that actually downloads Spender from App Store or Google Play Store. Now, this is the walkthrough. This is the roadmap that the person or the user is going to follow to get to the home page. Now, let's go back and then take a walkthrough on it. Now, let's zoom in. Now, we'll download the app. Then we've opened the app. when we open the app, we have our splash screen, and then the splash screen takes us to the first onboarding, takes us to the second onboarding, and then we move to the third onboarding. So once you have done with the third onboarding, it takes us to the welcome screen. So welcome screen will now say, oh, okay, I'm a new user. I'm going to click on sign up. So once I click on sign up and I've put my first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then I click on the button that said continue, and I click on continue, I will receive a notification that say an OTP has been sent to your phone number. Please input the OTP, and then I put the 4-digit code sent as SMS on my phone, and then when I put it, and then you will see a little something that says loading. It's not actually going to take time, but it's just like a roadblock that says, okay, let me see if this OTP code is correct. Then if it's not correct, it's going to tell you, oh, sorry, you put the wrong OTP code. Please check the number and try again. And then it takes you back and you put the correct 4-digit PIN, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it loads again, and then it's show you successful. You can now create your password, and then you're on this page. And once you are done creating a new password, let's say you create your password, Deborah 1234, you've created your password, and then you confirm your password on that screen, and then it tell you success. Please hold on while we take you to the home page, and then it takes us straight to the home page. Okay, so now you see that we've created a roadmap for Deborah as a new user when she's actually signing up on Spender mobile app. Now let's create for Gideon. Gideon is already an old user. He has been using Spender for like 2 months, and he has gotten let's say they paid him salary of 50,000, and he wants to save 20,000 naira inside the 50,000 because he's a monthly saver. Now he wants to save 20,000 and he wants to come back to the app. So what he's going to do is there's no need of him downloading the app. It's just to click on the app, and then it takes him to the splash, takes him to the onboarding 1, onboarding 2, onboarding 3, and it takes him to the welcome page. On the welcome page, we have the sign up already and we have the login. But Gideon is already an old user. So what he's going to do is going to click on login. So on the welcome, remember I said we have the login and we have the sign up buttons. So he's going to click on the login. So once he click on the login, it's going to take him to this. So I'm going to use input shape. So here is going to be login. So on the login, he's going to add his email that he has already verified, or his phone number that he has already verified. And then once he puts his email, what we are going to have here is when he puts the correct email and the correct password, you just take him straight to the home page. But in a situation where he puts the wrong password, in this place, I am saying that we should make this. So before we can when you put your correct email and password, it just takes you straight to the home page. But in a situation where you did not put the right password, now we're going to put a decision box here. So let's put a decision box that says successful with a question mark. Successful with a question mark. So let's increase it so that the word is going to stand straight. Okay, and let's make this arrow to stand straight. Now, successful, we're going to use this as red. Sorry, as green. So where is the green that we are using? So let's go back and use this green. So let's go back and use this green. And then we're going to double click and say yes. And then we're going to go back here, and then we're going to move this way, and then we're going to double click and say no. And then we are going to make this guy here to be red. So now the information I put when trying to log in, is it successful? Yes, it just takes me straight to the home page. But if the information, let's say the password is not correct, Gideon cannot remember his password anymore because it is up to 4 months that he has used that app, and he can't remember his password. So he's going to receive a feedback that says, oh, sorry, you have put the wrong password. Please try again, or please forgot, or create a new password, like forgot your password, like forgot your password with a question mark. Then you can now create a new password with your verified email or phone number so you can access the platform. Now, Gideon is a user who can't remember his password because the information he put was wrong. So what is he going to do? He's going to forgot his password. So this is going to be an input box. So I'm going to move this. So I'm going to move this to the top because I want everybody to see the arrow. So I'm going to change this color to our gray, and I'm going to make this to be this, let's say, email address. Let's say we are using email address as we're using email address as what we use for verification, OTP. So I'm going to increase this, and I'm going to increase this a little. So now I have put or input my email address. Now, what is the next thing I'm going to do? I am going to get an OTP to that my verified email address. So what I'm going to create here is going to be OTP. So what is the meaning of OTP? One-time password, which is actually sent on your email inbox in form of code or link. But for mobile application, it is code. But for a website, a web app, it is link. So, but in this aspect, we are using code for it. Okay. So once we've input the code, the next thing we are going to get is create new password. So here we are going to put our decision box. So decision box is going to be here. So decision box is going to be here. Let's increase it. And then let's put successful with a question mark. With a question mark. And then let's move this arrow to this place. And then let's double click and say no. And then we're going to change the color to red. And then let's move this to be yes. Then with create password shape. So let's create password or create new password. So let's use the word create new password because Gideon has forgot his password. So I'm going to change this to our green. So I'm going to come here and then I will select my green color. And then this is it. So I'm going to double click and say yes on it. Now, once we are done, what is the next thing that he's going to do? So once he has created this password, he's going to log in with this information. So I'm going to move this to this place and I'm going to change it to our gray color. So let me bring this guy down so that it can be visible enough. So I'm going to move these guys to the top so that everybody can actually see the line. So I'm going to bring this here. So let's make it red and let's change it to our normal gray. So now let's move this guy to the purple that we have been using. Okay. So now let's take a look at what we have just created. So let me reduce this and then let's take a look at what we just created. So remember we have this arrow here. So remember we have this arrow here. Okay, I think this is better this way so that everybody can actually see the arrow where it's pointing at. Now, let's say Gideon had, now let's walk through. Now let's walk through this app. Now, first thing first, Gideon. So first thing first is Gideon has first thing first is Gideon has come back to the app after 4 months of using this application. Now, what is the first thing he's going to do? He has already created an account. He has been using the account, but he has not used it for the past 4 months. So what is the first thing he's going to do? He's going to he's going to open the app, see the splash screen, see on body screen 1, then move to on body screen 2, move to on body screen 3, and then move to welcome page. So on the welcome page, what is he going to see? He's actually going to see the login and the sign up. Remember, he's already an old user, so he don't need to sign up anymore. So what he needs to do is just to log in on that particular platform. Now, once he click on login, he put his email and then his password, and then he received a message that said, sorry, your PIN is not correct. Please put the right password, or forgot, or change, or create a new password. And then he clicks, he can't remember it at all. Then he on the login, you will click where it says forgot password with a question mark, a text with a question mark. It's actually a text button. So once he click on it, it's going to ask him to put his verified email. Remember, when we are signing up, we verify our email address. So he's going to put his verified email. So when he puts his verified email, so they're going to send him password. Sorry, they're going to send him OTP code. So when an OTP code has been sent to him, so we're going to like take a little loading and said, okay, if the code is correct, then yes, create new password. But if the OTP code is not correct, he's going to go back and put the right OTP code. Okay. So once he has put the right OTP code, then you will receive a notification that say the code is correct. Please create a new password and then log in again. So once he has created a new password, then it will take him from that creating of new password to this particular screen that says, thank you for creating a new password. You can now log in with that password that you just created. And then he puts his verified email, Gideon at gmail.com and Gideon1234. And then once he puts it, the information is correct, and then he move to the home page. Okay. So once he moves to the home page, and then he can take his activity from there. Okay. So this is how an authentication of logging in or signing up on Spender app. Do you understand? Is it clear enough? So we have created a sign up flow and a login flow for Spender mobile application. So this is how it actually look like. So you can choose to change all this color. Let's say, for instance, I want to change this color. So let's change my color to purple, and let's change my onboarding to be this color. Let's say my welcome is going to be black. Then let's say all my successful is going to be blue or yellow. Okay, let's use the yellow for all my successful, like all my decision to be yellow. So let's use yellow. Let's use yellow here too. Now this is how it's going to look like. So for all my OTP, so I'm going to use, what color should I use for my OTP? So I'm going to use lighter shade of green. For OTP, I'm going to use lighter shade of green as well. So you can choose to change it any color you want to. So for my home page, I'm going to use blue for it. So this is how colorful I love about FigJam. It's so colorful. You can create whatever you want to create in any color of your choice. Okay, it has thousands of colors. You can choose to use any color of your choice. Now the next thing we are going to do, we are going to create. Now, before you create your wireframe, you need to complete you need to have a complete float. So you need to have a complete flow chart of Spender mobile application. But I'm going to stop here to test your knowledge to see if you can actually create the complete of this project, like the complete of this project. But I'm going to continue all the feature that we can see from the home page. So from the home page, we can choose to see notification. So let's say on the home page, we are going to see notification. Remember, I said we are using Kuda, Piggy, and Ope as our inspiration. Okay. So I'm going to change this color. I don't need it green. I need it gray. So I'm going to move it to the top, and I'm going to go back to the gray color I am using. I think I'm using this. No, okay, I'm using purple on it. So I'm going to use, so the next thing I'm going to see on the home page, so you can choose to use your hand tool to just zoom your work, take move at it and see what you have created. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to create, I'm going to see on home page, I'm going to see my transaction history. So I'm going to see my transaction history. So I'm going to change this to transaction history. All the transaction I have actually done on that app. So transaction history. So the next thing I'm going to see, I'm going to see my wallet. So I'm going to see my wallet. The next thing I'm going to see, savings. So I'm going to see savings. The next thing I'm going to see, take a loan. So take a loan. So it's going to be take a loan. So the next thing I'm going to see is my account. So my account. So I'm going to see my account. So now I'm going to connect all these. So these are the things I can see on my home page. Now, so I'm going to connect my line to all of them. So I'm going to connect to this. 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 So this is how it's actually going to look like. So let me bring it a little bit down for it to be clear and visible enough. So this is how it actually look like. Okay, so on the home page, what I can see are these features. So from the home page, I can go to notification. From the home page, I can see my transaction history. On the home page, I can see my wallet, how much I have saved on my wallet. On the home page, I can click on savings and then add the amount, add the day or month or year I want to save. Like, you know how savings flow work. Now I can take a loan. I will click on take a loan and then click the amount. I will add the required document, maybe NIM, BVN or stuff like that. So when I add it and then I'll put the amount and then click on successful, and then the money is actually going to appear on my wallet. Now I can, on the home page, I can see my account, where I'll go to my account and then I can choose to edit my profile. I can choose to edit. Maybe I made a mistake. We're trying to sign up. I'm supposed to write Deborah. I'm going to spell the normal Deborah, Deborah, and I made a mistake and I went and write Debroah, and that is what I actually put. She can actually go back to her account and change her name to the right spelling. Gideon too can go to this account section and change to the right spelling. So that is how it looks like. You can put a profile picture and then you can change your password, but you cannot change your email address because you have verified, you have told the spender people that this is the email I'm going to be using all through this application. Okay, for all the time they're going to use it. Okay, but they're not going to shut down, So this is how the flow look like. So I am going to stop here to test your knowledge to see if you can actually complete this flow. So like it's going to be like, let me test your knowledge to see if you can actually complete the flow. Like start from beginning to create your own, have a different colors, but let it just be exactly the authentication, the registration and login should be the same flow, but different color. Okay, then you are going to complete this to test your knowledge. Now, let's move to wireframing. Now, what is wireframing? We all know that wireframing is the skeleton outlet of your design, how your design is going to look like. Okay, your UI design is actually going to look like. Okay, so now let's create a wireframe for splash, on body screen 1, on body screen 2, on body screen 3, and then welcome. Okay, so let's create splash. So you can choose to work on your wireframe on this particular screen, or on this particular file, or you can use your Figma file. So the choice is yours. So do you want to use FigJam or do you want to use Figma? So our advice will do low fidelity on FigJam and then copy it to Figma file. So now let's use our marker. So I'm going to use these, and then I'm going to draw a straight line. And then from here, and then from here, so let's go down. Sorry. So you can choose to use your FigJam or you can choose to use your Figma. So the choice is yours. But I would prefer we do low fidelity on our paper and pencil. Please hold on, just give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. So like I said we will prefer to do our low fidelity on pencil and paper. Then we'll do our mid fidelity. Then we'll do our mid fidelity on Figma. So we can choose to do, some of us can choose to do it on our FigJam, but I enjoy doing low fidelity on a piece of paper, but we are going to do it on our Figma. So we're going to do it on our Figma. So let's do it on Figma here. So this is actually a Figma. So when we go back to our Figma dashboard, so when we go back to our Figma dashboard, this is how it's going to look like. So when we were trying to create a flowchart, we clicked on FigJam board, but now we want to create our wireframe, and then we are going to click on design file. So when you click on design file, this is how it's going to look like. So let's create on a design file. So I will create on a design file and wait for it to load. So now this is how it's going to look like. So what is the first thing I'm going to do? The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to the project's name. Now, remember that, okay, let's go back. Remember that when working on this, you need to be on your draft. So don't go to your teams. Just, you should be, don't go to your teams here. You should be from your draft. So when you come on your Figma dashboard, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on this draft, and then so that you can have access to creating multiple pages. So once you've clicked on drafts, so it's going to show you this page like this. So now the first thing you're going to do, you're going to come here, change the name to the app you are designing or the project you are working on. The next you're going to do, you're going to click on this page, and then you're going to change this to wireframe page. Then let's say okay, let's use the word low fidelity. Okay, so some of us that are actually use paper and then pencil to sketch their flow. So we are going to take picture of them. So let's say low fidelity. So we're going to take a picture of it and then upload it here as an image. So you can choose to come here, click, and then import the picture of it. So let me teach you how to import a picture. So let's look at low fidelity design, a random design on the platform. So let's say this one. So let's take this, for example, let's save the picture and then let's save it. And then let's go back to this. So now we want to upload or import that picture to our design, to our Figma board. So what we are going to do is we're going to click on this, select this. So you can import picture, image or video. Okay, so you're going to click on it, and then you get this image right into inside. So it will be like this. So what you just do, you just click, or you place all. So it's either you place or you just click. So this is what we have, and then you can zoom in. So but the image is blur, so let's download the one that is not blur. So let's go to image, and then let's see the one that is not blur, that is visible enough. So okay, let's use this. Okay, now let's then save this. So let's save this, and let's go back there. So I'm going to delete this because it's blur, and I'm going to import the new one that has the three. So these three has the low fidelity, mid fidelity, and then the high fidelity. So now let's move this. So let's ungroup this, and then let's highlight this as let's frame this. Let's group it. So they're going to group selection. This is low fidelity, and now let's create. Now for those of us that has already draw this sketch on a piece of paper, you can just copy and then import it here. But for those of us that want to use Figma to do this low fidelity, so I'm going to teach you how they came up with this. Now this is, when you look at this, you know that this is actually this line. So let's move this out so that it's not be confusing, and then let's move this out. So I'm going to take this two, and I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to come to the next page, and I'm going to paste it here. So now let's go back to low fidelity. Now, for those of us that want to use our tool to come up with this, remember you can use FigJam to come up with this. Okay, you can use FigJam to come up with this. You can use Figma to come up with this. But I will on my own, I prefer using my pencil and paper. Once I'm done with my sketch, I will then take a picture of it and then upload to my Figma, and then I will move to mid fidelity on Figma, and then high fidelity on Figma. But my low fidelity, for quick ideas, I normally use my pencil and paper because it saves me time and it saves me time and energy. You get? So, but we're going to create this our design too. So first thing first is what I'm going to get my phone frame. And when we had our walkthrough on Figma, I said we can use from iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max to or 15 Pro Max to iPhone 13. So we can use from iPhone 13 mini upward. So this, for now, I will advise you not to use it for now, but I will tell you reason why you should use it when you get to an advanced level. But at your beginner stage, you should use from iPhone 13 mini upward. So I'm going to select iPhone 13 mini. So I'm going to place it here, and then I'm going to use my pen or pencil too. So I'm going to, since I'm drawing a low fidelity, I'm going to use my pencil. So I have my pencil. I will just draw the straight line here. I will have another straight line here, and then I'll have my box to show that this is how the image look like. So it's just like this, and then we have our dots and all. So, but now we are not doing this. So look at what we are working on. So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to highlight them, and then I'll click on my keyboard, or you right click, and then you say copy, and then you come back to Figma here, and then you paste it at the top. So when you paste at the top, this is how it's going to be. So this is how it's going to be. So I'm going to place it inside a frame so that I can see everything on a white background. So this is how it's going to look like. So now let me repeat what I did. So after I have highlight, make sure you highlight everything. And you know, I'm already using a dark mode Figma. So, and most of the black text is not showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this frame. So I'm not selecting any phone frame, any phone or laptop frame. I just want to use a default frame. to just select this so that every text here is showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the frame and my cursor will change to plus. So I'm going to just click like this, and then I have this. Now, what is the first thing I want to do? I want to design my splash screen, and I already have my splash screen, and I want to design it in this format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my text and just write spender. So I'm using my pencil tool to do that. So this is how I want the logo to look like. So, and I'm going to select everything inside, and I'm going to group it, and then I will align it to the center. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is my onboarding screen 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to delete these guys inside. Make sure you name your frame so that it will tell you what screen you are designing. So this is going to be my splash screen. So this is going to be my splash screen, and this is going to be my onboarding screen 1. Onboarding screen 1. So what onboarding screen 1 now? This is actually what onboarding. So I now remember I said we are using Piggy, Ope, and Kuda as our inspiration. So now everybody know how Piggyverse is. Everybody know how Piggyverse is. So I'm going to use Piggyverse onboarding screen. So now how their onboarding screen look like is where the rest is that image that I showed you. So I'm going to use this pattern of our onboarding. So we have the illustration, we have the text, we have the 3 dots, and then we have the button that says next or skip. So let's go back to our design. So now this is how I want to. So I'm going to use my pencil tool. I'm going to draw. So you can choose to hold your shift if you want it to be in straight line. You can use your pen too, but I prefer using pencil. And then, well, let's go back to design because we are using this. And then I'm going to add my first text. Sorry, I'm going to hold my shift, my first text. And we're going to use this. And then I'm going to create my button. So I'm going to create my button using my rectangle. So I'm going to use button height of 50, and I'm going to add stroke to it because if I take it out, I don't need this color, but you can choose to make it this color. But remember I said low fidelity does not need any color. It's just line and shape. So now I'm going to take out this color and I'm going to replace it with line. So I'm going to click on this plus and I'm going to take this color out. So this is what we have, and I'm going to give it corner radius of 10, or let's just leave it in block like that. Then let's add our line to it. So let's add our line to it. So I'm going to use my hold my shift to add my line in it. So I'm going to reduce it because I don't want, sorry, what made that mistake? So Jesus. So I don't know why it's shaking. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this line. So let's go back to select 2. So I'm going to hold this and I'm going to reduce it to 1. So let's use 1.5. So I'm going to move it to the center. And then we have this for onboarding screen 1, and I'm going to duplicate for onboarding screen 2, and I'm going to duplicate for onboarding screen 3. But if you want your button to be short, you can go ahead and make it to be short. So you can reduce it this way. So you can reduce it this way, and then you reduce the line. And then you can add the 3 dots to show that, oh, this page is actually 3. So let's go and use our circle. So I'm going to add it here and I'm going to reduce it and then duplicate and then duplicate. So we have this, and I'm going to group So let's increase the height a little bit. Let's use 15 for it, and then let's group them, and then let's arrange it, because if you check, you'll see that this page size is not the same size. So now I'm going to use auto layout and then adjust it very well. So I'm going to bring it this way, and then I'm going to delete this pattern because I want it to be this pattern. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to duplicate this as well. So now you can see that I have on body screen 1, 2, and 3. So now I have done this, and the next I'm going to work on is the welcome screen. So I'm going to delete this guy. So the next one I'm going to do is my welcome screen. So I'm going to take this dot out, and I'm going to increase this, and I'm going to increase this line as well, and I'm going to duplicate this. Now, one stands for login and one stands for sign up. So I'm going to change this to welcome screen. So now we have created low fidelity of our splash, onboarding 1, onboarding 2, onboarding 3, and then welcome. So this is where we have created. So the next thing we are going to create is the sign up. So now let's create the sign up. Now, so I'm going to duplicate this for sign up here. So now I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to change this to be sign up. So what and what is going to be on the sign up? We have the first name, the last name, email address, phone number, and then button. So I'm going to delete one button, and I'm going to move this guy to the top. And then I'm going to use my line to say this is actually a text that says sign up. And I'm going to duplicate this. So this starts as a first name, last name. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to reduce this that says first name. I'm going to bring this a little bit down. I'm going to move this last name, and I'm going to highlight this, and then I will copy it down. This should be email address, and this should be phone number. So now I have created my sign up. So what is the next thing I'm going to do? I'm going to design for OTP. So OTP is, I'm going to just duplicate. So you're going to be duplicating your screens. So I'm going to duplicate, and I will change this to OTP. So this is OTP. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to delete, sorry, I'm going to delete everything here. So I'm going to delete this here, and I'm going to reduce this to 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to bring it a little bit down. I'm going to bring this title text down. Sorry. And I'm going to bring this button a little bit up. So we have designed our OTP. Now, what is the next thing we are going to design? Remember, we don't have to design this decision. Decisions are not designed. They are not designed. They are just like an hidden. It's just like an hidden design that tell you if this thing is correct, continue. If it's not correct, go backward. You're just standing in a way in between the two screens that needs functions to continue or not to continue. That's just like how do I explain? It's just like a roadblock. It's just like when you have a bridge. If it's continue, if it's not continue, or let's say you want to cross over to the next place, and this particular action required, is it correct? Yes. If it's not correct, then go back. So we don't have to design decision. So the next thing we are going to design is our create password. So I am going to duplicate this. I think I'll have to duplicate the sign up, and then this way, and then I will change it to create password. So I'm going to say create password, and then I'm going to take out these two. So this should be create password and confirm password, and then this should be the button. So let's keep it this way. Now you can see that we have actually created low fidelity for beginning of this to the end of this. Okay, now let's create for the login. So I'm going to duplicate this. I will have to duplicate this for the login. So let's bring it down and let's create login for it. So let's create login for it, and then we have the email, and then we have the password. So I'm going to delete this, and then this should be forgot password, and it should be here. So let's take it a little bit long. Forgot password, and then we have our button here. Now we're going to duplicate this that say, yes, I forgot my password. So I'm going to duplicate this and I'll bring it here, and then I'll say, put the email, put your verified email when you're trying to sign up. So I'm going to bring this a little bit upward, and then this should be forgot password. I forgot my password and I want to recover my password. Then I'll click on this button. It takes me to this screen. Now, what is the next thing is the OTP. So we don't have to design new OTP and design new password creation. So what we are going to do, we are just going to duplicate these two and then bring this down, and then change this create password to be create new password. So now we have created low fidelity of this our flow chart from start here to down to this creation of password, and then down to this creation of password. So we have not created the home page. Okay, so this is it. It's very easy, very cool, and then very simple. Okay.